Here's how you can quickly improve your website conversion rate and 3 reasons why you want to use contrasting to do that. Okay, so if you don't know what contrasting is, it's basically being strategic about the color placement on your website. So for example, you might use a dark color, light color, dark color. For the buttons, you might use a dark color, and you're doing it on purpose so you're guiding people throughout your website properly. Otherwise, it could look, something like this, where you've got white, 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 white. And there are some reasons why you shouldn't do this in most cases, right? Okay, so the first reason is to fight banner blindness. So banner blindness and visual fatigue kind of work hand in hand, where when you start to see similar patterns throughout a website, maybe it's the similar backgrounds and you see it over and over and over, you start to zone out. Okay, so especially when you're skimming content throughout a landing page, you start to see white, 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 white as the background, and you start to zone out of the content because you're treating it all the same, right? And we do this, you've probably noticed you have done this in the past, I've done it too, everyone kind of does it. Also, if it's all dark, or if it's all purple and high contrast sections, the same principle applies, where you tire the visitor's eyes out, which creates this visual fatigue. So in a nutshell, you basically have to alternate between light and dark so that you're resetting the visitor's attention or the attention spans, and you're giving their eyes a chance to refresh. So when you can alternate between dark and then light and then dark, you can, obviously reset their attention in that way. The second reason is to guide people to what matters on your page. So you are the architect of your landing page. You want people to take a certain action. Maybe it's to book a meeting with you, or to fill out a quote form, and to buy a certain product of yours. You want people to gravitate towards the end goal. And so in order to do that, you need to point them towards certain sections that will convince them to take the next step. So for example, let's say we've got this one here. I would naturally gravitate towards this big red section if I've already scrolled through white and then white. And of course, my eyes are going to, gravitate towards this big red section. Whereas if this was white, white, and this section was white as well, then this content here probably won't get the attention it deserves, because I might zone out a little bit, okay? Same with this, right? With the color of the buttons, where do my eyes go? Or where do your eyes go? Just test yourself. Well, you might quickly scan these for a split second, and then your eyes will gravitate towards this button because it's red, right? And so you need to be very purposeful with the way that you place your content and place your buttons and what color are they. And when you go through a few scrolls, like when do you have to change before someone gets a bit bored? And so that's what this principle applies. You need to alternate between the contrast between the sections and buttons and headlines. Like even the headline here, the headline is white, not dark, whereas the headline up here is dark. And, you're just alternating between the sections, like this one here. You're just alternating in a very strategic way. So you're having more emphasis on like a social proof section. So you want people to read testimonials and stuff because it's a very compelling kind of section to have on your website. And you know that after they see or read these and give the attention they deserve, there's a strong likelihood the person will want to take the next step and click the book now button or get a free quote or whatever that might be. The third and final reason why you'd want to use contrasting in your landing pages and website is to reduce cognitive overload, or the cognitive load in this case. So there's this thing called Gestalt principles, and he's got a principle in here for figure ground rule. Now, I don't understand it fully, but I'm going to explain how it works because it's very simple the way that they've explained it here, where it's using defined informational blocks throughout your website by using different contrasting sections. And so this doesn't only apply to contrasting sections, but I'll quickly explain. It's basically you're helping guide visitors through your content by organizing the content in a way that people can scan it very quickly. I know that this is text, a block text and image, and it's very easy for my brain to comprehend this section. It's only 2 columns, so you've got 1 column here and then 1 column here. You've got some text on the right, image on the left, right? Makes sense. It's very easy for me to comprehend. Now, I want you to compare, and leave this in the comments below, but compare this. Now, I know they're trying to be clever and creative with this design, but is this very easy for your brain to comprehend all the information? Where do your eyes go first? Does it go here? 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 There's so much to look at. You might think instinctively, oh yeah, this is a really creative design, really good, but for conversion rates, this is terrible. Same with this one, because you're pulling away the information blocks all over the page, and the visitor is just getting overwhelmed, and there's a lot of cognitive load, right? So you need to organize your information blocks in very easy places so that people can quickly, like, it doesn't take long for my brain to comprehend this. It doesn't take my brain long to comprehend this. Even like this one here, very, very simple to comprehend. Very simple to comprehend. I can, quickly absorb this information, move on to the next section, And, this is pulling me down the page in the way that the person who designed this would want me to consume the page. So you need to make sure that you're organizing your information blocks in a strategic way and not just trying to be really clever and creative for no reason whatsoever. Because that's what a lot of designers do. They do that. Like they try to refrain from boring, spaced out content like this simply because they want to show off their creative skills. But it just kills your conversions. You don't get as many leads and sales because you've just tried to be too clever. That's the way that you use contrasting. You've got to be very delicate and vigilant in the way that you use your contrasting so you don't bore people coming through your website, and you make sure that they're taking the action that you want them to. Like, for example, all your buttons might have a certain color that's different from everything else because that's where you want to draw people's attention. And likewise, social proof sections. There are many ways to use contrasting strategically. Just don't be like these guys where you're just doing it this way. So I hope that helps. Leave any questions below. I'm more than happy to answer them, and I'll catch you in the next one.